Welcome back. We are continuing through your Lifebook, Element 12, Optimizing Your Success in Reaching a Healthy Weight. We're going to actually talk about pages 235 to 239 today. And this is the reducing exercise for the first 3 weeks of your weight loss journey. I know, I said yesterday when we talked about the fruit, just bear with me for the next couple of days. These are some important guidelines, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. Okay. So I really want to be clear. The habit of healthy motion is a key macro habit in our system. Okay. This is one of those big rocks that we put into our jar, or in my case, the vase. All right. It's similar to the fruit guideline. It's all about timing. Okay. So sometimes people say, oh my gosh, your program, you can't exercise. Nah, that's not true. Okay. So just hear me out for the next few minutes and see if you can follow why. Okay, one of the reasons is we're switching your body from, we're switching the fuel source, right? Because we're going to that fat burning state, and it's not accustomed to using fat as its main energy source. So over the next couple of weeks, it's going to make that adjustment, and then you'll be able to add back more activity and increase your motion. So if you have a great deal of weight to lose, if you all of a sudden, this increase in your exercise, that's going to place a high level of stress on your musculoskeletal system. All right. So instead of risking injury, we encourage you, let's just wait until you've lost some weight and you've actually begun to improve your stamina. We're going to talk about this really in three different parts. First, if you currently do minimal activity, or if you do no activity, that was where I started. Okay. And I was pretty excited to be able to start losing my unhealthy fat without any need to increase my activity because I didn't have time. That's the bottom line. But I'll tell you what happens. As your weight begins to decrease and you're feeling better, you may start to add some additional activity. Maybe using the stairs instead of the elevator. Maybe taking the dog for a walk. Okay. And that's what I found is that when I started eating better, I was awake more. So I actually had more time to do, and I started feeling a little better that I was able to do those things like, take a little walk. All right. So whatever your current level of physical activity or ability is, Dr. A's plan, it's designed to give you an easy entry into that world of fitness. All right. You've been hearing Dr. A talk about the relatively minor role that exercise plays in weight loss. And that is true in the beginning of phase 1. All right. But increasing your activity becomes more important as you move from phase 1 to phase 2 and beyond. So after the first 3 weeks, your body, it's ready for that increased motion. You're lighter, you have more confidence, you're physically healthier, and you have the right motivation. You're actually in the process of installing, and you're in better command of the Habits of Health transformational system. So Dr. A, he's going to go on to what we call the NEAT and EAT exercise plans for physical movement, but that's, in a couple weeks. All right. So that's for the inactive people. Now, let's say you have some moderate activity. So sometimes when we ask people to cut back their exercise for about 3 weeks to mostly stretching and to limiting their exercise so that so it really doesn't make you sweat, and that can get like the exerciser somewhat anxious. Right. So Dr. A was actually talking to a bunch of, a group of women that were at a gym, and they were absolutely anxious when he was asking them to cut it back for 3 weeks. And so he's had the open conversation. He said, well, how long have you been members of the gym? And most of them on average were there for about 2 years. And he said, well, how much weight have you lost? And the average answer was, well, they lost a couple pounds, but they put it back on. So Dr. A actually, he congratulated them on the success of establishing that habit of health, of healthy motion, but he explained that it's virtually impossible to lose weight consistently with exercise alone without diet modification. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. So he actually went on and he explains in this book that when women work out, they experience what's called compensation. And that is that we become so hungry that we have a tendency to eat more to make up for our calorie deficit. So if you're wondering what's happening, that's what it is. All right. So he asked this group of women if they would follow his guidelines as promised, if he promised that they would see results, such as like seeing contours where their muscles were, that was actually hidden by fat in as little as 3 weeks. So let me just tell you, they're more than pleased with the results. And after those 3 weeks, they started progressively getting back to more activity. And then, they got back to their full workout. He suggests having a fueling before and after the workout to make sure that your body has enough. And he also taught them how to increase their activity throughout the day, not just at the gym. Okay, now the third group of people is the people who currently have intense activity. So if you're in this group, the same rules apply, but hold on. You may want to cut your exercise in half or more until your body acclimates, right? So if you're training for a marathon or extreme games event, you may, or you wouldn't go on our lowest calorie count program. That you wouldn't do, right? You want to make sure that you have enough. And actually, you want to make sure that you're having the branched chain amino acids. We call them the EAAs. All right. So here's the deal. If you are inactive when you start the program, we're going to start increasing your motion after you start feeling better, right? After you start losing weight, after you're feeling more energized. If you're currently active, we're going to say, hey, can you cut it back? Cut it back until you get into that solid fat burning state and your body acclimates, right? Then you slowly work yourself back to active at a rate that's going to allow you to thrive. And for the hardcore enthusiasts, those that are, into significant, intense activity, move at the pace that allows your body to adjust so that you lose the unhealthy fat. And then once again, you can expose your underlying physique at a pace that's safe and effective. All right. So that's it for today. I told you it was going to be a little bit tough. You can exercise, but we're just going to modify how much, right? And it's all based on the timing. But healthy motion is absolutely an important macro habit. All right. So that's it. Tomorrow we are going, what are we going to do? Tomorrow we're going to review why am I eating fuelings instead of whole foods? Okay. That's the third question that comes up over and over again that people may go, we're going to make sure you really understand. So please feel free, like, comment, share the post, hop on over to the YouTube channel, Healthy and Vibrant, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.